Hello, this is Ian Kilborn, Energy Systems Engineering Technology at St. Lawrence College, Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Okay, this is a video on how to model windows in RETScreen Expert. I have already created some zones in my building envelope. I've got a zone 1 here and a zone 2. So here I am in zone 1 building envelope. And I'm going to click right here on Windows to open up the Windows area of this zone. And so I've got to end up filling in these blanks for the area of the window and the U value of the window and the solar heat gain coefficient of those windows for each of the 4 directions. I'm going to start by pushing on this button here, which says Window Properties, and that is a link button. That will open the Window Properties worksheet. So I'll say create a new one here. And now over here I've got a new worksheet called Window Properties. I'll click on that. I might want to relabel this if I'm going to have more than one worksheet on Windows. For instance, if I have some windows that are in a basement, a foundation wall, and some windows that are in a wood frame wall, I would want to model those in different places because I'm going to need to associate them with different zones. And so I'll sort them out that way. So I'm just going to say AG for a above grade here for my window properties. So come down here. I'm going to list every single one of my windows. If you're lucky, you'll have a building where there are numerous windows that are identical. And then you can just put quantity over here. If they all face the same direction and they're the same size and type, that makes it easy. Houses tend to not be that way. Commercial buildings are good that way. So here's my window. It faces north. What type is it? I got 4 types to choose from. Casement. Do I want to work in inches or millimeters? Depends what you've measured your windows in when you did your field work. Put in some numbers here. 22 inches wide by, let's say, 45 inches high. And I have one of those windows. So once I've got this filled in, RETScreen just calculated the area of that window down here. Down here, it's going to start adding up everything I do up here. The purpose of this sheet is to take all of your windows and have RETScreen boil them down into one set of numbers. So you may have a whole variety of windows that face north. They might have different U values. They might have different sizes. They might be different window types. This worksheet aggregates all those windows together, and it gives you a total area of north-facing windows and a total aggregate U value equivalent and solar heat gain equivalent for all of those north-facing windows. Of course, the same for every different direction that you've got. Over here, these blue boxes, so these are the properties of the window. U centered CG is the center of the window, center of the glazing. That's what CG stands for. Solar heat gain coefficient at the center. Rated window, so the U value for an entire window will typically be less than it is for the center of the window because the entire window includes the frame and the edge spacers and stuff like that. They have a lot more heat conduction than we would have right in the center of the glass. So if you were working with a new window that had a sticker on it, you could fill in these values yourself, or you could look them up from a manufacturer's specs. If you're not, you can go over here and you can say See Product Database, and you can click on this, and RETScreen will give you some suggestions. The top 2 here are grayed out because we've already said over here that it's a casement window, so we don't get to change that here. Down here we get to say, all right, what's the glazing in this window? Double, single, triple, or even 4. Is it low E argon or is it not low E argon? So if I pick a common window here, a double low E argon, now I get to choose the frame type. I'll choose vinyl as a common frame type here. And now I get to choose the manufacturer. So RETScreen has loaded into this database a small number of manufacturers and some model numbers for Windows. It's unlikely that you'll find your window there. And if you're doing an existing building, it's unlikely that you even know what brand it is or what model it is. Where possible, I choose generic. Not all of the window types have a generic manufacturer. If they don't, you're going to have to just choose something that you think is typical. Usually they don't change a whole lot from one manufacturer to the next, as long as you've got the glazing and the frame type correct. You can flip around and you'll see these numbers change a little bit, but not too much. So here are the four numbers that I need, the properties of the window. Notice that they're all center glaze numbers. And so what RETScreen does then is it adjusts those numbers reduces them based on the size of the window. So a large window, the aggregate adjusted rated numbers are going to be closer to center glaze. A small window, because it has less glass area and more frame, the aggregate window is going to have a worse thermal properties than the center glaze. So click this and it pastes those in, and I can change this description here if I want to, but I probably won't. Now I go ahead and I carry on, and I add all the windows that I want to associate with this particular above grade Windows window properties worksheet. And down here is proposed case. If your windows are the same in the base case and the proposed case, there's no button here to copy them over. Don't bother retyping them all down here. There's a better way to do that. I'll show you when we get back to the worksheet. So once I've got this done, I can go back to my worksheet, and we can see here now that this Windows is linked to that worksheet called AG Window Properties, and it's pasted in these values here. If I'd had east, south, and west windows, I'd have a full set of numbers all the way across. At this point, if I want the proposed case to equal the base case, which I should when I'm beginning to build my model, come up here to the ribbon at the top and click on this copy based to proposed, and that will bring those numbers over there. When you close your file and reopen it, you'll probably find that it opens without this having been copied over there, and you're going to have to do that manually every time you open the file. Otherwise, your base and proposed are not going to be the same.